Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's 6:07 for the second. We are here today, October 20th, 2021, in continuation of discussion that we had yesterday regarding the wildcat. And I don't know, Madam City Manager, do we have anything you want to add before we move forward?
I was asked earlier today so that Parks could present basically what we have at the Wildcat Center. And then in terms of updates from yesterday, there were discussions between Miguel, Augustin, our finance director. I'll let him talk to that about with Wells Fargo. And also we had spoken with PMG in terms of a closing date. And they were able to arrive at a closing date of December 10th.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So if Miguel can come up and talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we do roll call, Mayor?
Oh, sorry. The continuation. Yeah, and yes, good. Huh? Do that.
Councilwoman,
yes.
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin.
Present.
Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy. Here. Councilman Desiree.
Here.
Mayor Biename.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. I was under the impression that we are still in yesterday mode. And now let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance with Major Gisela Brooks from the North Miami Police Department.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as I conduct the invocation. Lord, I pray that you bless us in this meeting and keep us safe and healthy. Bless our council with wisdom, our administrators and employees with commitment and compassion for our community. May the work we do bring hope, peace, unity. Amen.
Thank you very much, Major Brooks. And now let's call the Finance Director, Miguel. Yes. You did the roll call. Oh, you want to read the go
tab?
ahead.
Yes. A continuation of tab 8. A continuation of the discussion from Tuesday, October 19, 2021, regarding the city's potential purchase and lease of a new community wellness facility, Wildcat Center.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Right, Miguel Augustin, Finance Director. So today I was able to speak with our representative at Wells Fargo, our contact. And he was able to tell me that we can get a term sheet, meaning the terms of a loan with a rate certain that will be locked until date of closing. We should be able to get that by next Friday. So not Friday coming, but the following week. And then in that same timeline, we should be able to, if things go quickly in terms of back and forth between the city's attorneys and their attorneys, they should be able to get it optimistically done by the third week of November. So November 18th or November 22nd, the following Monday. So that's the new updates that I've gotten from Wells Fargo.
And additionally, I know you've had conversations with Mr. Tate today, so if you want to go into that discussion.
Well, yes, we received some changes in the terms, some slight changes in the terms with Mr. Tate. The changes were minor. One of the changes was the factor by which the annual rent would be calculated was raised from 8.5 to 9. So that changes the calculation a little bit. We also, instead of increasing the rent, not the rent, the annual rent, instead of it being the 3%, it would be now raised by the consumer price index with a minimum of 2.5%. So if the consumer price index is below 2.5%, then we'll be going with the 2.5% as opposed to 3% escalation. And but consumer price index is volatile, so that is a variable that we can't really predict as a 3% that is predictable. Well, there was a provision that he also added to place $1 million per year for the first 5 years into a fund that will be used to pay down at the first point that option to buy became available. But that's something that I don't think we understand each other with in terms of that provision. Because his understanding was that he would have separate, in addition to the lease payment, have a separate fund being funded by this $1 million per year for 5 years that will be available at year 10 when the option to purchase became available to apply to the purchase price. But our understanding was that those funds would be used to pay the lease payments itself. So there's a misunderstanding there in terms of our understanding of the transaction. But that's at least my understanding of the changes for the lease.
That's it. Thank you very much. Let me allow the state from State Capitol, and if you have any addition on what Miguel Augustin said.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, Teresa, everybody else, thank you for allowing me to speak here tonight. First of all, I just want to say that I don't consider the changes we made minor. I thought they were pretty material because they all benefit the city. Just to recap a couple of things that took place last night, and I was trying to go back to, the well and figure out how we can make this more palatable and economically viable for the city. So one of the things that you guys were discussing was, could we possibly pay down the loan earlier? How does that affect the net present value? How does that affect the gross payments? Because last night it was presented by your staff that this was a $25 million payment. I agree with that over the time period of yesterday's deal, but if you did the net present value, it was substantially less than that. So what I wanted to do is come up with different scenarios. How do I decrease the net present value to make it closer to the $12 million that you guys determined it would be if you went ahead and got your financing? And then I also want to figure out, how do we allow you to pay it off early, so which would decrease the total amount of your payment. So with those things in mind, and then this morning I received a call from Commissioner Alex Delsme where he asked me, is there any way we can lower our interest rate a little bit? So what I did was I went back to the drawing board, and we went from an original 10% down to 9%, which is pretty substantial. We then went ahead and we took what you asked, Mayor, into consideration. Instead of keeping this, the buy down in 10 years, we assumed that I'm assuming if you asked to pay it down early, you had the money. So in order to have to come up with all the money at once, I figured if you could pay down $1 million a year towards the purchase price, in addition to lowering the purchase price in the future, what that also does is I agreed to lower the rent each year by $90,000 per $1 million. I don't consider $90,000 immaterial. I mean, to me that's pretty substantial. So, but between lowering the 10% to 9%, lowering the rent each year by $90,000 upon each of these payments, and also I was asked if there was a way. I was assuming it would be safer for the city just to have fixed annual increases in rent of 3%. I was asked if there was a way we could do something tied to CPI. In commercial leases, it's typically, if you do a CPI, you have a floor. That's just standard in the industry. So I lowered it to 2.5% with the floor. It's still my opinion. If I'm putting on my hat of the city, representing the city, you're safer to you fix it at 3% because CPI, especially with inflation right now and what's going on with the supply and growth and you know, the inflation across all boards, I just think CPI is going to run away from us in a few years, and it's a dangerous trap to play. So do what you want, but in my opinion, it's always safest to fix a rate and agree on a fixed rate. And, you know, I felt 3% was fair because we all know CPI over the next 3 to 4 years is going to go much higher. So that's your choice. You guys could do what you want, but my professional opinion is to protect yourselves, fix it. So those were some of the changes. And also by making the change I did, although I don't believe in this calculation, I don't believe it's a fair methodology to look at something. Yesterday's deal, the total gross payout was about $25.5 million per your staff. Today's proposal, gross payouts closer to $20 million. So it's over a $5 million a year gross savings payout. So using their formula, again, I don't agree with it. I don't think that's where you should look at things. You should look at things with the net present value. Our net present value went down to $15.4 million. That's today's value, our deal, what it's worth to the city.
A question, how much will be the sell price?
Okay. So basically what I offered the city yesterday, and it's still my offer today, whatever I pay for it today.
How much will you pay for it? Between 10.5 or 11 million, how much exactly it is? You're going to buy it for?
Well, I was trying to buy it for 10.5, but I heard the price now is 11, so I'll pay the 11. But my point is, whatever I pay for it today, I'm willing to sell it to you for that exact price 10 years from now. No appreciation. You're not going to find a real estate developer or a lender or anyone else that's willing to do that. So again, I'm not asking for this deal. I'm just trying to help. But you guys need to understand the realities. And the reality is this is an incredibly fair deal for the city, assuming it's what the city wants. It's not what I want, not what anyone else wants, but what the city wants.
Before you said between 10.5 and 11, that will be the purchasing price, and you're willing to sell it back for the same price. But before you said 10%.
Right. So what happened was whatever I was purchasing, originally I was purchasing this at $10.5 million.
Okay.
So that's how I came up with my rent. And it was, and 10% of that was $1.05 million.
No, I'm talking about, you said that if we're willing to pay off the loan,
yes,
you will charge us 10% of the original price.
No. I'm sorry. So what I was trying to say, okay, so how I came up with the rent.
No, not the rent. I'm talking about if we decided to pay off the loan.
Yes.
How much will it cost us?
Whatever I paid. So, for example, let's assume you don't pay down it's not really a loan, it's what I paid for the building. So if I pay for the building $11 million today, we're willing to sell it to you. We try to do a formula, but it's pretty within close. If it just covered our closing costs. So I think it came out to $11,300,000 in 10 years.
11.
So I'm basically carrying it for you for my rate of interest.
That means it's not 10% on top of the
No.
price that you, okay. It's
No.
not 10. And how long the loan going to be mature? After how long can we pay off the loan?
So what I tried to do, and maybe I misunderstood, I was trying to come up with a formula that I thought would work for you. I thought I heard last night, and the city manager said I misunderstood. I thought the city manager said that she had $6 million identified to go towards the purchase price. So I assumed that she could use $1 million of that a year to go towards the coffer to pay it down. If you don't have it, you can pay it off in 5 years. You can pay it off whenever, you know. I need it. If you want it, I need it for a certain period of time because after I close this, I do have to get some debt. So, you know, I'm safe to say tonight, 5 years, if I can structure it to be paid off earlier, I will. But 5 years, you can pay it off if you want. I was just carrying it because I thought you needed the money.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that the question that was at hand was, there were two questions at hand, which was how would we pay the lease payments now? And that was the money that was from the escrow. And so that's one pot of money. So it can't pay a lease payment for $1 million and then pay another $1 million to put down towards the purchase price each year.
Oh. No, wonder.
As I said, I misunderstood.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's when you're telling me it's between 10.5 and $11 million, that would be the purchasing price, and you're willing to sell it to the city for the same price, right? To pay off early, but you just need between 2 and 5 years window of the lease agreement.
Right now, I need 5. If I have to go back and check if I can do it in 3, I'll do it in 3.
Okay.
I just, because as I said, I'm laying out, funds that we need for our business and to do this so I can close quickly. But then I have to put the debt on it. So I do have to put on debt. So I have to find out what's the best rate, if it's a 3-year or 5-year. But
Okay.
I can figure that out tonight.
Okay. If it will be a penalty if we pay that early, what? Let's say we agree on 5 years, and for pre-penalty, how much do you anticipate it cost?
I'd have to rerun the numbers, but obviously if you pay it off in 5 years,
I'm talking about if I decided to pay it off in 6 months, for example.
I won't
giving
be,
you an example.
I can't, that would be kind of difficult to do. So, I mean, you need to, I'm going to try, if you're asking me to try to do it for 3 years, I could try to do it for 3 years, but I can't, this is not my business, so I can't really do it in 6 months. I'll be losing money with all the transaction costs, attorney's fees and stuff like that.
Thank you very much. Let me open it to the public. I know some, and the continuation, I think if you speak yesterday, let other people speak. And you have 2 minutes, sir. Yes, go ahead.
Jim Garrett, formerly of 645 Northwest 132nd Street, 1111 Biscayne Boulevard, Unit 1A, and soon, hopefully, to be back in the city by either April or July 1st, 2022.
What happened?
I'm in favor of
What
this.
is the question, sir?
No, please let me speak. I'm in favor of this proposed acquisition of the Wildcat Center by our city. What does this turnkey facility provide for our community? We are receiving a cornerstone community and athletic center for the whole community, benefiting the seniors and the youth of our community. The youth sports that we can put in there: basketball, men and women; volleyball, men and women; indoor soccer, men and women; gymnastics, yoga, and the exercise that we do in at the library we can put in here; wrestling, men and women; judo, men and women; boxing, netball, Special Olympics, Senior Olympics. Hey, I do compete in judo and wrestling in my age class. We can have a meeting place for all the homeowner groups on this side of the city, a community facility, and we can get back. We get a community center that is a war-rented NAIA facility from 2013. What we get is a conversion, easy. It's turnkey. And what we're doing it is for the greater good of our community, from Northwest 17th Avenue to Biscayne Bay Terrace. What we can do is add that to Cagney. We're going to spend 7.5. We have 7.5 of county money and school board money there. We're going to have a fine facility at Cagney. We're going to have a fine facility at Breesrep at $800,000, and we're going to fix the stadium and get our bleachers back and have the Pioneers and the Sox playing in their home stadium. Solar meal. God has brought out that we could. The thing is this: it's good for North Miami.
Thank you, sir. And let's thank Commissioner Jean Monestin from District 2. Can you say, and Bill, you spoke yesterday, and it's a continuation. Let me invite the commissioner to come and say a few words to the community, or I don't know if you're going
I
to
wasn't sure for a
participate.
minute if that was you because of the mask.
We all look a whole lot more handsome with the mask and pretty with the mask. Mr. Mayor, thank you so very much. Council members, it's a pleasure pleasure to be back here, Mr. City Attorney and Madam Manager and staff. Pleasure to be back here. Just looking forward to playing this role of being a regular attendee at your meetings again in the future, as I look forward to next year. I had a wonderful station recently, your council member, Estimate Irvin, about a $5 million a grant to assist with a senior center, City of North Miami, that was budgeted last year.
You have to tell them it's in District 3, Commissioner.
Ouch! Yes, it's in District 3. That was not last year, that was recently budgeted in the last county budget for center down here. I look forward to working with the councilwoman, making sure that it's the nicest facility for senior members of our community that are currently challenged with high cost of housing. So we look forward to working with this and other projects. So always available here at your service. And shout out to the Desolme, team of Neon, who's been doing a wonderful job. So good seeing you all. Thank you for recognizing me.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Monisting. And public hearing is open, and on the item, we're going to let other people speak.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If you mind, I think it would only be fair to let everyone speak again because we have new information.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just think it's fair. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'm going to start off with a paraphrase that when I had first heard it, I thought it was really kind of crazy, and it's attributed to Frank Lloyd Wright. And I do have the exact wording, but let me give you the paraphrase. And that is, to embrace the luxuries and the necessities will find a way. And at first I thought that was reckless and irresponsible. And I got to give credit to, in particular, our council people in District 2 and District 3 for your vigilance in pointing out the expenses and the potential burden this might carry with it. But I also have to say, after further consideration, that when you go through life, it's not really these little, after being tight on money for most of my life and sharing that struggle, it's not really, if it was a few pennies more, a few dollars more or less, it's really the memories in life. And here's a chance that the city can obtain something that will, you know, whether the tax goes up a couple pennies or dollars or not, this can bring great memories to a whole generation or generations of North Miami people in the future, of all ages. It's something that can bring pride to the entire city, even if people don't attend and use that facility. There is a great value to that. That value will then be dispersed amongst all property values. We now have an asset in the city which will enhance our entire city, and there's a real value, a real payback that takes place. I think we'll also be able to, we're on the track for new development that will then be able to help pay for this. I trust that that will be embraced by the council as we go forward, and we will be able to find, if we put our thoughts together, to find a way to properly cover the costs of this. So I wish you the best in trying to obtain this, and hopefully outright as soon as possible, taking advantage of the interest rates that are so low, so historically low. Be ashamed to miss out. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Public.
Hello. Rafael Enrique Erazo, 2400 Northwest 82nd Street, 33147. I used to live in the city of North Miami. I am planning on coming back. I've seen this opportunity has come to the city, and I strongly believe that this is something that we should get our hands on as a city. It might not seem the most promising opportunity at the moment, but let's take a break and open our eyes on what's going on around us. Things are moving forward, and North Miami will be the next city to have a total game changer. When this happens, we must be involved in it. What I'm trying to say is this opportunity don't come out twice. Good luck.
Very much, Public. still open.
Okay, Mike McDermott, 840 Northeast 127th Street in North Miami. As most of you all know, I very rarely speak at council meetings, but this is really a significant opportunity and event here in this city. I've lived in this city for over 50 years and seen a lot of opportunities that we could have had, but we missed because we didn't take a chance. We didn't take the opportunity and grab it and go with it. This particular center, again, over the years, I've seen a lot of experts, a lot of people, consultants coming, and we spend a lot of money on, on looking at things and examining things. But this is a facility that, first off, was designed as a community center. It's not like we're going to have to spend millions of dollars on architects and consultancies and things of that sort. This is what it was designed for. And not only that, it's already built. I mean, this is not something that we're talking about 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years down the road. We're talking about something that can be utilized today. And we certainly can utilize it. I know Councilman Galvin spoke yesterday about possibly making it a headquarters for the Police Athletic League. As past president of the Police Athletic League, I can tell you there's a great need for the kids of this community. There's a great need that could be fulfilled by this Wildcat Center. I want to thank, by the way, Mr. Tate for stepping up and helping, as he often does in many, many ways, obvious and behind the scenes, that he has helped in the city of North Miami over the years. I wish we had the time to really understand how, how this whole process works. But again, I just think that this is an opportunity we shouldn't let go by. And I guess the decision tonight really is, do we want it? And I think the obvious answer is yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir?
Kenneth H., 776 Northeast 125th Street. Really, I live on Emerald Drive, but being a retired police officer, I give this fictitious address. Actually, the real address is City Hall. Who am I kidding? Mayor, council, I've been in the city for 50 years. I remember when the community center was built on 123rd Street back in the late 70s. It's seen its day. It really has. What I would do at this point, I apologize for not coming here yesterday, and I didn't know the meeting until I checked my computer today. I'm not sure on the finance, but one of the things that I think I would do is I would sell that community center, put that back on the tax rolls, and take the proceeds from that and put that down as a down payment on the Wildcat Center. The Wildcat Center, we've had several meetings there. Mayor, your quarterly business meetings we've had there, it's an excellent place. It's an excellent place for our youth, our community. It's modern, it's new. We can have banquets in there. You have office space in there. We could put parks people or other city offices up there. It's a win-win. It is an absolute win-win. I spoke to my neighbors on Emerald Drive. They're all in favor of it. We need development in this city. This is an attractive, good-looking building. And this could be a good cornerstone for that neighborhood for ripe redevelopment, high-end development, which would give us the tax base to pay off our debts and also improve our salaries for our employees and put us back in the black. And I really, as I said, I spoke to all my neighbors today, and they are in favor of this. And I hope somehow we can arrange the financing to do this. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Public hearing still open. Item.
My name is Preza Diverso. I live in North Miami. My address is 245 Northwest 128th Street. I live in for 25 years ago. And so I very happy they try to do that for North Miami to put the North Miami up more beautiful. But the best thing I think the last cost is going to cost that city is going to better for the neighborhood, because whatever you try to do for 25 million, you can spend. The people can make arrangement to cost less money than 11, 12 million is better for the people, because the taxes is going to be up for everybody. So that's why I just try to come in over here to say what I think for the people in the area.
Thank you very much, sir. Public hearing still open. Public hearing is now. Can I close public hearing? Public hearing is now closed.
Mayor, we have some previously submitted comments.
Yes. How many?
4.
Thank you.
4.
Go ahead.
Carol Geimer, 1030 Northwest 128th Street, North Miami. The city of North Miami has always been known as one of the leaders of programs for the youth in Dade County. I raised my son in most of the programs offered. At this time, there are very few programs for the youth in this community. The Wildcat Center could be utilized to bring North Miami into the limelight again with programs for youth. You could have indoor basketball and indoor soccer, a computer center, and after-school activities to keep them occupied and safe. The Police Athletic League of North Miami services a great many youth of the North Miami area by keeping them off the streets after school and offering them many interesting and educational programs. They have an after-school program that provides them a place to go plus somewhere to get homework and tutorial help. The weight room at the Wildcat Center could handle PAL's boxing program plus their physical training program. There's room available for tutoring, counseling, computers, and a room in which just to relax. A partnership with North Miami Parks and Recreation and PAL of North Miami would be nothing but beneficial to our youth. I am asking that you please consider our youth when you are discussing the purchase of the Wildcat Center. Thank you. This one does not have an address, but it's coming from Wendy Welberg. Hello, I am a former professor at JWU. I also lived in North Miami for 45 years. The Wildcat Center will be an excellent addition to North Miami. It would fulfill a need for an updated community center in the eastern part of North Miami. It also could provide an excellent gathering and learning place for the children and families in North Miami. From what I have seen in the plan, it seems like the city has 2 options to purchase the WC. If the city could manage to purchase it without going to third parties to finance, it seems the city not only saves money, but can provide this wonderful center to the people of the city. Thanks for allowing me to chime in on this subject.
Thank you very much. I'm going to let the residents speak, and you will continue after.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, City Attorney, Dr. Naomi Blemire, 685 Northeast 126th Street, North Miami, 33161. I have been a resident here for over 7 years. I am also a small business owner. I do believe that the Wildcat is a great investment for the city now and long term. However, my professional opinion as a former banker for the second largest bank in the United States still stands. It is not in our best interest to go with a hard money lender. Again, while I thank Mr. Tate and his family for bringing this offer to the table, it is not in the best interest of the city to do so. The difference between going for a traditional loan and a hard money lender is the cost of the money. It is too high. It is not prudent for the council members to agree to this sum of money at this 9% rate when there's a possibility that you can get it at 1.5%. It is not fiscally responsible to do so, and it is not in the best interest of the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearings. Yes. And we have
Yes, I have two more comments. To whom it may concerns, I wanted to voice my favorable opinion.
name, address.
Oh. Mike Shear, 2380 Bayview Lane, North Miami, Florida, 33181. To whom it may concern, I wanted to voice my favorable opinion of adding the JWU Wildcat Center to be an amenity owned by North Miami will be positive step in providing an updated, modern facility for community activities and gathering. Thank you. And we have one coming from Councilwoman Carol Keys. Don't have an address. Madam Clerk, I am requesting that you read this for me at this evening's special council meeting, as I am unable to attend this evening's meeting in person. Mayor and Council, I am sorry I cannot attend this evening. In the event the Council is intent to pursuing the Wildcat Center, I strongly urge Council to pursue the prudent and fiscally responsible path by entering into a purchase and sale agreement with a 30-day inspection period and a 15-day closing after that. The 30-day inspection will give staff the necessary time to obtain a loan commitment or not, and even more importantly, determine whether we will find the required 190 parking spaces. The approximate 30 parking spaces at the Margolis Center should not be considered, as the Margolis building will need to be sold. Even that building does not have adequate parking spaces and has been fairly useless for most events. Additionally, if the property is not purchased and owned by the city, we will also be paying property taxes starting next year at around $200,000 to $250,000 per year. That has not been included in staff lease projections. Please do your due diligence. Do not vote on emotion. Take the time to carefully evaluate all options. Thank you, Carol. And that's.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed. Thank you very much. Let's come here on the dais. Let's start with ladies.
Madam Manager, I know when we spoke earlier, you also mentioned that you guys received information from TD Bank as well. Can the Finance Director also put that in the record, the information that you received from TD Bank? Or the quote?
Miguel, Augustin, Finance Director. So I was also able to have conversations with TD Bank to finally get some idea of what rates they could provide for us as well. That's the same questions that we got from Wells Fargo, the intended use of the property and so on and so forth. And I was given a rate of under 2%, 2% or less, something that they committed if they went through with it. We told them that we were in talks with Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo was already further along in the process. So I was just basically getting an idea of whether it was a fair type of arrangement in terms of market rate. So it was market rates. The 10-year is fairly standard. If it was beyond that, the loan would be a little more complicated. But a 10-year loan is not as complicated for them to put together. Time period is about the same. 45 days is what I was told, 45 to 60 days, but it can be done in 45 days if need be. So.
Thank you. And Madam Manager as well, you also mentioned that in Mr. Tate's proposal that his interest, well, he has a bank loan and his bank loan 3%, correct? And your bank loan is 3% and you're charging the city how much?
That would be my understanding from Mr. Tate on his, on what was represented. I think there is some debt getting on there, because when we looked at it, it was originally 10% annually. But I would leave that for Mr. Tate to answer in terms of what loan base or debt he may be carrying on it.
Okay. Yeah, so just from our briefing, his loan was 3%, and then the city, is paying the interest on top of the loan that he already received. And you also mentioned that PMG has agreed to change the closing date, so it's no longer 15 days to close. Now we have until December 10th.
Councilwoman, if I could speak, because I just got the email from the outside counsel we was retained. We were able to get an extra week. Closing date now would be December 17th.
So now we have until December 17th to close on a deal if the council decides to move forward with acquiring this property. So we have more time. And knowing that we have more time, what can we do, I guess, what can administration do to ensure that we have a fair market price being brought to us, that we're not getting a hard money loan that we now have to pay back over years, and now we're paying more money instead of just paying, what the cost was. So I guess what does this more time buy the city?
One of the issues is when you get into the contract for a sale or for a purchase, sometimes they'll have it with terms and say, look, this is a contract for purchase, but you must close by this date. So by that time, that's the timing that you need to get your inspection and your financing done. So when we went to the bank, when we originally went to the bank, we asked them, hey, we want a closing within 30 days. They said they think it's closely feasible, but we've asked for additional time in order to get the closing, to ensure that we can meet the closing time.
And just hypothetically, if we didn't make that closing cost, and let's just say city had to cut an $11 million check because the council decided to move forward with this purchase, does the city have enough cash flow to say, here's an $11 million check, so we have a loan coming, and when that loan comes in, we can kind of replace it? Is our cash flow sufficient? Is there any funding where we can say, hey, let's pull $5 million from escrow from Catney, let's pull $4 million from here, wherever, to say, hey, to close on this deal beforehand? Could that be an option that you guys explore in the next, between now and December 17th? Or, well, I guess soon, if this thing gets approved?
I don't believe that it would be prudent to do that with the cash flow. I can leave that to Mr. Augustin, but we can look at it further.
Mr. Augustin, is that something?
I concur with the manager. I don't think that's something we should, because if we were to do it, it would be with general fund monies, but the general fund does not have that cash flow. The enterprise funds do, but don't have that much flexibility. Enterprise funds monies.
But given that we have more time, can you guys, I guess, for other funding mechanism as well?
Well, we can look to see other options, but the CAGNY money, the one that's in escrow, it's with the school board, so we can't really pull that money out readily.
I think the main thing for us is that from the bank, what was the time frame that the bank told you that they believe they could close on a loan?
Yeah, they said if we have no hemming and hawing between the two legal teams, between our legal team and their legal team, we could get it done as early as November 19th or the 22nd.
So we've already had the conversations. We've been talking, both legal teams have been talking all day today. The counsel for Wells Fargo has worked with our counsel, with the city's counsel, on many deals. He actually pushed for the December 17th date, but on the legal side, he actually legal.
Thank you. I know for me yesterday, I spoke very passionately against this, and it was more so about the funding mechanism. I think moving forward, I know Councilman Galvin, you have been in discussion about this early on, still in the city when we were having those discussions. But I think, I don't know if it's we failed or the administration failed, but this was brought to us last week in terms of discussion. Say, hey, let's purchase. And if that was brought to us 2 weeks ago, and now we're here like, oh my God, scrambling to find money and to figure out how can we fund this. I've been on the phone with representatives from the reps from the bank, administration. Madam Manager, I even asked you, how much does Gwen Margolis cost? What was it appraised at? 2.8 million. So if we have to take a 2.8 million and sell Gwen, or if we have to take Solamia, but let's really come together and comprehensively come up with a solution if it's the will of this council. Because hey, you know, I can complain all along, but if it's your will to move forward with the purchase, let's really sit down and think about this before we make a financial with going with the wrong.
If I can clarify about the process. So the process that we followed is really a normal process in terms of trying to look and secure your financing. That's the reason why you have the timing for the closing. Once you've made a deal and you've agreed on a deal number, you go to your finance and you figure out the time for closing. But just to give a little history and a background, we had an offer out to PMG about prior to September 28th. We had an offer out and they were supposed to get back to us on that offer. And that did have to deal with another parcel. It was about Wednesday of last week in which we realized that they were no longer going to do that deal. And then on Thursday, we asked them to provide us with a counter offer. So on Thursday was the first time we had the number of what the counter offer was. From then, Councilman Galvin had told me to reach out also and speak with Mr. Tate. And on Friday, it was too late to have the conversation with the bank. So over the weekend, I had several conversations and Mr. Tate provided his lease terms on Sunday. And on Monday morning, I had asked my finance director to look into that. So generally, if right now we knew what our number is, this would be the next process, which was get the financing to close, and everyone would agree, including your financial bank, as to the timing of it.
No, and I understand that. I just think for this to have been, when did you start, Calvin, having this discussion about Wildcat?
Very day that they announced that they were selling the.
When Duke Sawyer was interim city
yeah, I don't
manager,
even
and I was
remember,
still.
but I have the email. So if anybody doubts me, the very same day I was in touch with President Rice at JWU about how we get our hot little hands on that.
And I think just for me, and you know, starting in June and, you know, trying to pick up the pieces on where we left off, the council should have came together to talk about it. And let's lay out a plan with the administration on how we purchase. Not, you know, in a meeting, not with the public. Maybe it's a closed door, you know, session, kind of like what we did with the P3. And we talk about what are our options. What can we do if it's the will of this council to purchase this, so we're not here at the last minute, scrambling, looking for peanuts, figuring out how we're going to center. So it's not like I am saying, screw this, Councilman Galvin. It's just that we should have had a financing in place to ensure that when you're gone in 2023 and I'm still here, that I'm not having to raise taxes in order to pay for it. So I think for me, in my conscience, I want to, you know, serve my constituency, but then also be transparent as possible. We cannot honestly say that if we have two options on the table, one that has an extremely high interest rate and one that has an extremely low interest rate, that in our hearts of hearts, we are going to go with the high interest rate. We're not. You do not go to the store and see a Louis bag, the same Louis bag that costs $5,000, another one that costs $1,500. You're going to go to the one that costs $1,500. It's just the same thing, but it's the route that you take to get there.
The one for $1,500 may be fake.
No. I said to the Louis store. I said to the Louis store, Mayor. I said to the Louis store, not to the Poochie store.
Saw one on.
But I just think that we need to make a fiscally sound, responsible decision as a council. We need to explore all of our options, and to ensure that we're making, a sound decision up here. Literally, like, we had this conversation yesterday, like, okay, how are we going to figure this out? And we're still trying to figure it out. And quite frankly, this is embarrassing. Say that we didn't have a plan in place before. It's either you plan to fail or you fail to plan. And in this case, we failed to plan. And right now, we're in the midst where we've already lost the parking spaces. We don't know what's going to be built in that lot. We don't know what that owner has planned. So there could be a 15-story tower building going up in front of Wildcat, and we don't know. And we're going to say, hey, people are going to come to this beautiful center. And the center's beautiful. I've been there. I've, attended events there. I've hosted events there. But who's going to park at Publix and walk a couple of blocks in heels to a wedding that's happening at Wildcat? I don't think no one will. But I think we just kind of need to really sit down and think things through before we rush into making a decision. And now that we have this December 17th date, maybe we wait and maybe we vote on, hey, moving forward with the purchase, and then having the administration come back with what our financial options are. Because we can move one without the other, correct, Mr. Attorney?
Yes, ma'am. You've actually got, I think we discussed it yesterday. There's two items before you. One is, do you want to purchase the Wildcat? Second item is, how do we
pay for it? And with that, nothing else to say.
Thank you very much. Ladies first. Councilwoman.
I'm glad we're being nice now. I'm glad we're being nice. Good evening, everyone.
What?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. So nothing has changed from what how I saw it yesterday. Like I've mentioned, I am in support of of us acquiring the Wildcat. Now the question is, how do we? I know a lot of us like to say, "Oh, my constituents," and I can tell you that I've gotten calls, and my constituents, it's been a mix. It's been, "Hey, we don't need this now; we can't afford it." Others are like, "Well, this is an opportunity. Let's have it." But what is really outrageous is the funding. That everybody was in unison. That is not. There's no. It doesn't make sense. And I don't think if any sound business person or any one of you here, my opinion, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding a bit disrespectful or direct, would agree to some terms like that. When we have an opportunity to have an interest at least 2 or under. I really want to that from the bottom of my heart, because it's going to benefit all of us. But the way we pay for it, and I know it's an opportunity. Honestly, we have other issues and other facilities that needs fixing, but I know this is an opportunity. We're not always going to have a center that's ready to go. So I'm okay. You've bought me there, but cannot pay almost 20 million, whatever you want to say, almost double. Can't just.
Are you done? Okay. Thank you very much.
Madam Manager, hi everybody. Madam Manager, we've spent a lot of time talking about money, but community is more than money. It's also about people. Is our Parks Director available to talk about
Yes, he's available. Mr. Brent, if you come up and kind of present on the Wildcat, there was a recent walkthrough of the Wildcat, so I think it'll be good to hear about the programs that could be available there.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Sam Brinson, Parks Recreation Director. Just going to go over some potential use and revenue generating opportunities. You've already heard some from the resident. There are fitness and wellness programs, athletic programs, facility use, and other uses. Some of the fitness and wellness programs that are potential in that facility is potential memberships for residents as well as staff to the weight room, aerobics classes, line dancing classes, ballet and dance classes for you. You can also come up with athletic programs such as AAU programs for youth, basketball clinics, summer league and tournaments, volleyball, as you've heard before, as well as indoor pickleball. And some other facility rental uses are facility rentals and other uses. Partition, event space, conferences, classroom, computer classes, office space for parks and recreation staff and PAL staff, and as well as some cultural arts programs. The slide. Question.
Thank you very much, sir. Do we have any questions?
No, I just want to say, you know,
Okay.
like I say, we've spent a lot of time talking about money, but we haven't talked about kids of this community who would benefit, the elderly of this community who have regular residents who will be able to. This option will not be long again. All the 45 days, and all the, you know, if everything goes smoothly between, we could lose the opportunity. I mean, I know full well that I'm right. I've been on top of this for a long time. They could go with another offer tomorrow, hired us calling. And you know, I'll be honest, North Miami has a real issue with being the city of the future. In other words, one day Solomia will generate revenue. One day the CRA will construct something. You know, one day these things might happen. I've been here 25 years on. I can't touch many physical things in this community that are any different than they were when I was a baby. 50. Yeah, there's some okay, 53. Don't laugh. But you know, we have Solomia and we have the Joe Celestin Center. I can't think of anything else substantive that's different physically. The city has made happen in all of that time. Rather than keep promising our residents what could happen in the future, let's give them the opportunity now. I get what you're saying about purchase price and get down. Even if we waited the 10 years, and thank you, Mr. Tate, for changing some of the opportunities, maybe make something that can pay off in 5 years. Even if we did it 10 and it cost $20 million, I dare you to find a place in this city where we will be able to acquire the land and build this same property for $20 million. It's just not going to happen. Even if we went up to Solomia Park, the size of the land, money needed, then we'd have to front the money. I mean, as Mr. Augustin just said, we don't have the money in the account now. So I get concerns about the money. If we're able to finalize this deal now, there are other options we can always still consider. It's in the CRA, something I didn't even realize until just today. I'd always thought the whole JWU, this is in the CRA. Maybe the CRA can help us set us. Got a lot of developers coming along. Maybe we're able to ask them to kick in something, whether that's money or parking spaces, because all of the new developers in that area are going to want in on height. I did speak with Guy, Danny, Solid, Solomia today, and they are willing to have a conversation about for the money that we were going to spend Solomia Park, instead bring it down. We have options, just don't have time. We're having a good conversation, I felt, with MG about the old trailer park, those who know it that way, as a way to broker a lower price for higher density. And then they turned around and they sold it. Every time every time PMG sold another section of that property, we lost leverage, down to no leverage, down to very little, if any. I would hate for us to look at each other after this is done and say, wow, we have all these new residents moving in. We've got a train station. We had all the opportunity in the world to buy Wildcat Center, and we let it go, waiting for someday we might. I say that
Thank you very much, Councilman Galvin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thought you changed his name to, you changed my name to Galvin. I may have to change my district number because I'm always last. But I have a couple of questions. I was not here yesterday, but I concur with Councilwoman Timothy in terms of the time frame when this item was presented to me about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, I think, well, last week. The manager, I got a call from the manager regarding the item, and I really didn't know what was going on. And then I spoke to Mr. Tate, who clarified, I think on Friday, what was happening, and then I told him I wouldn't be available for any meeting yesterday. But I did reach out earlier, and Mr. Tate mentioned that and asked him about the price in terms of putting down the percentage. But I do have a couple of questions and comments in terms of what I've been hearing from residents and as well as from what I've been reading about the deal. It's evident that this is something that Councilman Galvin would definitely would like, and I don't have absolutely any reason not to support the item, but it's the manner of which I think we get it and how we get the money, because we don't have a dime or where we get the financing of it. And I think Dr. Blemire mentioned something that we need to remind ourselves. A lot of us are in that position, and some of us, it took a long time to get out of this position, bad credit. But that's where the city is. We are in because of bad decisions in the past. We are not in a good thing, but I'm glad that we are getting some decent, I guess fair value at 1.5% from the two banks, 2% from TD Bank, if I heard Mr. Augustin correctly. But there are some issues that I do, not issues, just some answers that I do want, because I heard some of my colleagues say one thing from yesterday, and I heard Mr. Tate mention some of the prices down. So I wanted to get some clarification where we are, if the will of the council is we really want to get this. And a lot of the calls that I have been getting is really folks in support of the item. I think I got two calls of folks who may have some little issues with it. But the money part is the big concern. So let me ask this first question. And I don't know I don't know if it's the finance director or maybe Mr. Tate. So if the price is 11 million from the two proposals, the appraisals that we received, the 9.4 and then the 13 million, so the middle number is 11 million, I'm assuming. So now you said something which you're a business person, I get it. You may be able to work out 3 to 5 years from us if we wanted to go that far, and we don't have no money and we want it, so what do you do? What would be well, I think, Mr. Mayor, you asked the penalty. So if we wanted to pay early, so if we could get this loan from it would be from, I guess, Wells Fargo. If it's the 1.5 better than TD Bank, well, hopefully somebody will give us 1%. But anyhow, if we could get this $11 million, right, from Wells Fargo, in 6 months. So we purchased this from you. What is the total from you purchase it and you lease it a year from now, or we say to you, okay, we have a lease for 3 years, but we want to break out the lease early, what would be, is that something you will have to, do you have the numbers, or that's something you and your team will have to come back and give us?
I just need to go ahead and calculate it. I can't, it's impossible for me to do this for 6 months. It's just,
No, I didn't say 6 months. I'm saying we have it for 6 months, but we would say that we know that you'll say 3 years. What are the numbers? I'm just trying to get some numbers so that we would know, because I know it's not the 20 million.
People say 25 million.
No, it's not.
The number that they came
I'm trying to get to where we are from 11. What is the difference? I'm trying to get some numbers.
I can tell you. So let's assume I can work it out for 3 years, and I'm going to do everything I can to do that, because as I said, my objective is to help you buy this building. So let's assume 3 years is the number. And I already called my brother to run some numbers. So
okay.
Let's assume right now we can sell it to you in 3 years. Your number would be the price I paid.
Yeah.
Right? The 11 million.
11 million.
Your rent for 3 years. And then the 11 million.
What's the rent per year?
900, about 900.
900?
Yeah, about
900?
So
that's 3 million?
With 9%.
It's 9% of the 11 million, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be what? I'm not good. Remember, I'm
so let's, for argument's sake, call it about $1 million.
Okay.
Let's just say $1 million for argument's sake.
Okay.
So basically,
$3 million. Okay.
Your total cost would be $14 million. But because it's such a short period of time, I need to get my cost to close reimbursed. So whatever my cost to close, it's a couple $100,000.
Okay.
That would be it. So call it 14 million and a few and change.
Okay.
Maximum of 15 million.
Yes, or
A
less.
little bit less than that. Okay, got it. Is that so? We would borrow 15 or 11 million from the bank.
We would borrow 11 million.
Okay, so where would the 4 million come from?
No, because we're paying the.
I know, but that's the manager. Where would that come from?
Well, I mean, the 14 million, and we're getting $11 million loan for the purchase of the property.
No. I know the 11. I'm saying the 4 million for the rent, like the 900.
She's trying to say there's two options. It's either we buy from him, or we buy it ourselves.
No, I know, but obviously can we buy it ourselves?
Yeah, that's the option. That's the 11
The option
million.
is to buy it ourselves for 11.
The bank loans that he was talking about is the loans that we would get from the bank. So the city, we can borrow a loan, and we can say, hey,
okay,
scratch Mr. Tate.
So why are we here at this meeting?
Can I say one thing?
Did I miss that?
Look, here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to lay it out for you, clear as day, right? So please don't say I didn't warn you. I sell a lot of property. I buy a lot of property. In today's market, I've never sold a property conditioned upon financing. It's all cash, and I make the buyer show me proof of cash when he signs the contract. So if you think you're going to sell to a developer who is every bit as sophisticated as my family, and they're going to do it subject to financing, you guys are not being realistic. I'm sorry. And who's ever telling you they're going to get this deal with debt, it's not going to happen.
Mr. Long.
And I'm going off 35 years of hard knocks experience in this business. This is my business. Again, I don't care. Don't do the deal with me. But I don't want to see Vice Mayor Galvin lose this deal. And that's what's going to happen, because everybody's trying to, catch fish in a little drum, but the drum they're looking in is here, but the real drum is like this. And I'm telling you, you're dealing in an industry you're not familiar with. I guarantee the contract you get says all cash. I guarantee, unless you have this from him already, he's going to say, show me proof of funds, because that is standard. And so all I'm trying to tell you is, don't do this with me. I agree with you. If you had financing lined up, right, and you could do this with a bank, that's the way to go. That's the normal way to go. Okay? I agree with all of you here. The only reason I'm involved is because a week ago, you guys were going to lose this to another buyer. And Scott asked me to please jump in and try to save this. So that's what I did.
Okay.
I don't want to be looked at as the handler, the guy that's screwing the city. That's not my intent here. I'm trying to help. So I'd rather just back away and watch what happens. But I'm telling you, I could tell you what's going to happen.
No,
I could read to you the last chapter.
No.
And the 5 of you are going to be upset, and everybody down here is going to be scrambling.
That is true. Mr. Attorney, go ahead.
Please.
Because I normally
Please.
allow you all to
Yes.
discuss, but I have to speak here because I have the purchase agreement right here. And nothing that Mr. Tate is talking about is in here. All
Okay.
right? So I have the purchase agreement. We have spoken to the attorneys. They understand we're a city. They understand that we're getting financing. They have agreed. I have spoken to the attorney as of today. They have agreed to close on December 17th. So I just had to jump in and say that.
So
I have the purchase agreement right here.
So does the purchase agreement say all cash? It does not.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Good night.
I will back out. Good luck, and I hope it works out.
Well,
Thank you very much. You have the mic.
Did you just say you're backing out, Mr. Tate?
I'm not backing.
yeah. Yeah.
I've never sold a property subject to financing, and I know PMG, unless you told them you're selling it they're buying it subject to financing. If you did, that's great, but I just know them because they're the same as us, same as every other, same as Craig Robbins, same as Related, same as Armando Cadena. We all use the same attorneys, we all do the same deals. So and they may be doing the city a favor, and that would be great if they are, but that's not normal. That's all I'm trying to tell you. So just make sure, and I'm advising your staff to make sure that they understand that this is subject to financing.
Okay. Can we then question Councilman Galvin? Based on what I guess the attorney and Madam Manager. So based on the documentation that, because I'm all confused now, because I really don't know why we're here. So if we have a selling thing that says 11 million, and then, so did that happen this afternoon, or when did this happen?
No, the offer was accepted. They made the counter offer for 11 million, and it was accepted on Monday. They told us they gave us till early this week. We accepted the offer, and they sent us the purchase agreement. So one of the things
When
that
did
you
we get the
negotiated
purchase agreement, if I may ask?
today, we got the purchase
I got it
agreement
today.
Okay, but nobody,
From
I didn't know
PMG?
about that. But I'm just saying, I just find out right now because I really look kind of, just asking these questions because I really, did not know in terms of, some of these information. So what do we do in terms of, so now we have money? Is that what we're hearing? We don't have any problem? Because
If I heard Mr. Augustin correctly, I'm going to shut up.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Here's the thing. Here's what we're missing out on. Okay, now if we look at the price now with nobody, I spoke to Wells Fargo today as well. Nobody at that bank would guarantee they could get us the money, and if they could, it would be 40, 60 days out. I can't be sure that PMG waits another 45 or 60 days, because even though we have something here in writing that indicates they might, we were having really good conversations with them just a week, 10 days ago, that they were going to use the trailer park. I wish I could, there's nothing there, it's a vacant lot. Use a vacant lot as a discussion point, and they didn't, and then they sold it, and they just wrote us an email, said, sorry, we've sold it. They're going to sell this to whomever they can as fast as they can, and we won't have the opportunity to do anything. If they sell this and it goes away, now the only option we have is to try to reconstruct the same facility or something similar at Solomia. That's going to cost us well in excess of any 11 million or any 14 million that we're talking about right now. And that's what I worry about. If I thought we had time, it's a different conversation. They've told me before that they're working on things, and then they've changed their mind and sold property. And if they sell this tomorrow to somebody else, I'll be disappointed, and I'll say now, in 4 years, when I'm gone and you're still up here talking about someday in the future, I hope you have the money to be able to build it. But that's another thing that bothers me is everything about this city is one day in the future, one day we might, one day future. So, bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Is that how it goes? I'd rather go with what we've got right here and, turn attention.
Okay.
Can I see this letter?
Jeff.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Attorney, the contract that you just received in your hand, is it subject to financing?
Now you guys are using Mr. Tate's terms.
Does the...
So are you telling us not to do this deal with Mr. Tate?
Say again?
Are you telling us not to do the deal?
That is a business decision. I don't get involved in business
but
decisions. What I'm telling
had a leading
is,
question.
What I'm telling you, and I have been telling you, is when when I speak to another attorney who represents the party that we're talking about, and they tell me that you have 30 days to close, and I call them back and say, hey, we need more time because we got to get a loan from the bank, and then we, as of today, have moved it now to December 17th. I think I've done my job, and we've gotten the time, and that I've got a commitment from these folks that they're going to close on this deal. I don't understand why.
Mr. City Attorney,
give
me a second. The information that you just related, it's new to me.
Sir, all of this is new to us. I mean,
I'm talking about the agreement. I didn't know you have an agreement in your hand.
I mean, we said yesterday when we closed this meeting yesterday, staff asked to have the meeting on Friday so we could have these discussions. We came in early today, we did what we could, and we've got more information. And I'm sharing it here at a public meeting.
When did you receive those information?
I just printed this out before we walked in here. And as we were in here, I was still talking to the other attorney.
Councilman Desilme.
I think Councilwoman.
Right. So I know that there's concern, Councilman Galvin. I think December 17 gives us 58 days closing.
If they wait that long.
Okay. I have another question, Madam City Attorney, Madam City Manager. Once we've made that offer, aren't we automatically into contract with them? Could you walk me through the process? And will they have to honor our offer and wait it out? What's the process?
It's typical contract. Right, so you make an offer and someone accepts it, and then we all agree that there's going to be a closing. We are in that process.
Can any of us back out?
The only thing that the only condition we have is we told them we can't buy it unless the council agrees. So if you agree tonight, then we will get to work tomorrow to have this closing done by December 17th. If you don't agree to it,
to get the loan or just closing, you don't have cash.
Closing and getting the loan is the same. It's the same thing.
Not the same thing. You tell the seller that you're going to close on the 17th, but it's going to be up to the bank.
The process of getting the money closed and the process of drafting the legal document closed are all involved in the closing.
We're talking about the bank. It's two different. Telling the seller that you're going to close on the 17th and sign contract is completely different than when you start the process of getting the loan. That's two different stories.
Okay.
Because
so I think, Mayor, I think what's happening is when we close, we are in contact with the bank's lawyer also. This is a team of lawyers. It's going to be our lawyer, me. It's going to be the city's outside
the
counsel.
Legal part.
It'll also be the bank's
The legal
lawyer.
part of the financing is different.
The bank's lawyer is involved in
the
the
loan
closing.
officer give you the loan. After they agree and they give you the final approval, that's when the legal team starts. Don't tell me legal and legal. It's two different stories.
Was Councilwoman still talking, or
yes,
I have a question
Councilman
for Jeff.
I don't even remember because I keep getting.
So, Jeff,
Okay,
let's say they backed out. Let's say PMG sold it to somebody else tomorrow morning. Even though we've had this correspondence with them, is there a penalty to them for taking another larger offer and walking away?
I can have those discussions after you direct me to move forward with it. I mean, again, I have no direction from this council to do anything. I've taken some steps and spoken to the attorneys, I haven't done, and again, I haven't read this entire document. Like I said, I just printed it out and walked. So I can add that if that's something we want, a condition. But typically, that's what happens. I mean, they understand that we're going to go out and get the money. They understand. That's why you have a due diligence period.
What if they have an existing offer from another entity for more money than we're talking about here?
Councilman,
And they decide after we've gone around about this tonight that, you know what? They just want to go ahead and take the bigger offer from the other organization, but there's no penalty.
Councilman Galvin, my
And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, this is what it all comes down to. Time, tick tock, tock. And being the city of someday in the future, that might bite us in the butt. I can tell other stories, but Jeff, can't they just take another offer and sell it, despite their discussions with us? That's what they did to us 10 days ago.
Yes, they could.
Yes, Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
So I just want to make sure I am understanding everything, Madam City Manager. They had another offer, then they asked us for the counter offer, and then after we accepted, what could you explain?
It wasn't about another offer. That was the other parcel. We've always been interested in Wildcat, and there were some discussions about a full conversation that dealt with some things on the other parcel. They sold that parcel. Okay, so then when they sold that parcel, the conversations were between what would happen on that other parcel and us having Wildcat. That was one offer made. They sold that piece, the other parcel, and it's just the Wildcat. And so they came to us and said, well, you made an offer, but we don't have that other parcel. We're not interested in the other parts that have to deal with the parcel. So our counter offer to you is $11 million, and you need to, accept the offer by early next week, which would be this week. So we, based on the instruction that I had on September 28th from this council to move forward and try to act and acquire the Wildcat, we've accepted the offer. Right now, we have the purchase contract. If the vote today says we agreed to buy it, we would sign the purchase agreement, and then they'd be in contract with us for the sale. At that point, if they did anything other than sell us the property, then we would have a legal claim that we were in a contract with them.
That's what I wanted to understand.
Actually, I'm glad the manager said that, because it did remind me that, yes, that's what this, I'm getting caught up. That's what this purchase agreement does. Right now, the language in the purchase agreement is 30 days, but again, the lawyer for PMG is represented. They are willing to go to December 7th. So we would amend this to say December 7th. We would sign it after the council votes on agreeing to move forward with it. And then, yes, there would be.
Just Jeff, just so everyone's clear, you guys have a contract in hand, an agreement with PMG's attorney. You guys are in discussion with Wells Fargo to ensure that the loan, if the city decides to take out a loan, is available so that we don't have to pay an additional $4 or $5 million when we can just pay 11.8, and all we have to do is agree, give you guys, I guess, the authorization to move forward, and you guys will get to work.
Yes, this is the agreement purchase. This is an agreement of purchase and sale of Wildcat Center LLC and the City of North.
You got that just now?
Just today, yes.
Just today. What time today? I wish somebody would tell me these things before I sit up here and make these debates.
It was like 4 o'clock. I mean, literally, we've been working all day.
My phone works all the time, though. I mean, I'm hearing for the first time here that there's this type of potential arrangement.
So I think just thank you for clearing that on the record, Mr. City Attorney, because I know everyone's under pressure right now. Everyone is stressed. Like, my head is pounding. But at the same time, this has been less than 24 hours. We told administration to come back and present another option, present a better option that we can all swallow and say, hey, we've made a good, sound decision. So if I'm hearing that the city attorney and the city manager and the finance director has been working nonstop to get us a better deal on the table so that we're not spending more, thank you, Mr. Tate, for your proposal. But I think I think we have a better option on the table. And you know that because you also have a loan that is 3%, and our loan is 1.5%. And you would not take a 3% loan over a 1.5% loan. So I think as a council, if we're going to vote on one item today to say, hey, acquire this property,
let's take that vote. And if we're going to vote on the second item about financial, how we're going to fund it, we'll take that vote as well. But if not, let's just tell the administration to do their work, because obviously in the past 12 hours, they have been doing their work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
the only caution that I would have to say, and I agree partially, but again, in the past, we got to be careful, and we got to just make sure that this thing goes through, just flawlessly. That's all. Well, just make sure we do a closing, that's all. Because, I mean, I would hate to, because I came here ready to vote for, just to get it. So that's what we're doing, which is fine. So we just need to make sure that, because I would hate for us to have the opportunity and then for something not to do. But you're right. But we do what we do. So, whatever the motion, we'll do what we do.
Mr. Tate, you were going to say something.
Again, I don't mean any disrespect, but I highly recommend.
A quick question, Mr. Tate.
No, I do have a question.
No, I'm just going to ask you a question. You want to go ahead?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was going to ask you, how come PMG sent an agreement to the city? Do you have an agreement with the city, with PMG?
No, so what happened was Scott asked me to call. We're all business associations, so associates. So when Scott mentioned to me what was happening, I called the owner of the company. I called the president, the CEO, and I said, "What's going on?" He told me they had another deal. I said, "Would you do me a favor? Table it, give the city till this week to vote on it and do what they had to do." So he said he would. He relayed it back, and this is why I'm a little confused, and I trust Jeff. Jeff's a very good attorney, but I'm telling you, they would send a form document. It is all cash. I promise you, I know what I'm talking about. So here's what I'm going to recommend you do, because if you don't do this tonight and he doesn't have a deal, then I know we're going to lose it. So here's what I suggest you do. Have a plan A, vote on a plan A and a plan B. And I'll do everything I can to help you guys get your plan A done. Plan A, B, go for your financing. But here's what's going to happen. When Jeff realizes and speaks to the attorney and says, "Can I put in a financing condition here?" they're going to say no. That's just what's going to happen. There's 0% chance that they're going to agree to a finance condition. I promise you, I know what I'm talking about.
But the administration back up 100%. They're going to get it done by 17, and they take the engagement of put everything on the table. They're going to get it done. That's what they say.
Again, I have no fight in the stance. I'm happy to walk away. This has been a lot of work for not a normal return. So I'm just trying to help you guys out. But I know what's going to happen, and I know it's not what everyone thinks. Because if the contract doesn't say that it's subject to financing, it's not subject to financing. So as the city tries to put in, it's subject to financing, they're going to say no, it's all cash, because that's what a standard form contract is, unless it says subject to financing. This is what I do. I do it every day. I buy and sell properties at least every other month. So I'm sharing with you my knowledge, my experience, my expertise.
Mr. Tate, let me ask you a question. Let's see, we agree with you. We close. What will be the penalty if we decide to pay off the loan in 30 days, in 60 days?
See, that I can't do. So if that's what you want to do, I'm not the guy.
No, I'm talking about the penalty.
I don't want to charge you guys a penalty. You're my friend, so
No,
I'd rather not do the deal.
The reason why and I say that, let's see in the meantime, and we lose the deal, and the property is sold, that's mean we have nothing on the.
Look,
that's why
this is why I think what you should.
The second option, let's see. Okay,
I don't
close
think
with you.
Right.
In the meantime, the administration is still working on getting the deal done, and we have a bank who give us a check for $11 million or whatever it is. What will be the penalty in case?
I just have to go ahead.
And we have an option like that on the table in case.
I mean, I can't, I just have to look at it, but it's like, you're asking me to come up with a penalty for a city I love. It's like counterintuitive. I don't want to charge you guys a penalty. It's just not, it's not worth it to me. I'm taking a lot of money. I'm putting it out.
No, I just want to make sure we don't lose the deal.
Right.
Because
So
at the end of the
I'm
day-
concerned you're going to lose the deal. I really am.
That's
Why
my
don't you do the
point.
following?
And I'm not concerned that we're going to lose the deal. We have to have faith in the very people
Listen,
that we
Councilwoman
hired.
Estime Irvin, it's
We
about
have to
money. It's
have-
about the loan structure of financing. It's not faith. You pray, we're not talking about faith. We're talking about numbers
if you would
here.
listen to what I just said, I'm saying that we need to have faith in the very persons
Faith in
that
what?
we up
work
here
in a
hired.
deal, we're talking about faith.
We hired professionals to work on this. We have a professional city
Well,
attorney.
the
We have
realtor.
a city
He's
manager.
a city attorney. He's not a
Okay.
realtor. He's not a loan officer. He's
But
not
give
a
them,
finance.
give them an opportunity to work, Mr. Mayor. Why are we begging to pay penalty fees? Does that make financial sense?
Nope.
Okay.
In fairness, that a penalty fee is normal for an early
I don't
payoff.
understand
That's
what you're
normal.
talking. We're talking about a loan.
Right.
Let's say I know in 1 year I
But
can.
Mr. Tay has a loan, right? You're taking a loan from the bank at 3%, correct?
No, he's paying
Well, no.
cash.
What I
We
said
don't
was
know what he's getting.
we're using my own our business credit facility to buy it. So,
At a
but I
3%
can't keep
rate.
that out. So
At
I
a
was then
3%.
going once. No, my credit facility is
Everybody think
my
they're
whatever
expert
my
in
credit
finance
facility is.
and
But then I
loan.
go ahead and I can't keep that cash off the table because that's what we use
Yeah,
for our
you
business.
have to recoup.
So I then go to a bank and I'll do normal financing, which takes time. And so I'm just trying to tell you that.
But we have something in writing today, an agreement with the attorneys from PMG, and I haven't seen an agreement with Mr. Tate, outlined.
I don't
We're
know
just
what-
discussing it right now.
Thank
So I
you.
think right now, we have something in writing, an agreement with PMG saying, hey, the city, go get your money from the bank, get it from Wells Fargo's, and let's see what happens.
But that's not what the agreement says, Councilwoman. That's not what the agreement says. Do what you want. I don't care. It does not say it's subject to financing.
Mr.
Go
Attorney,
get
what
your.
does it say?
Please, Councilman Timothy, let's not argue.
I'm not gonna
We
get
haven't
into a
seen
debate
yet,
with
and
Mr.
we're not going
Tate
to stay
about
here
agree-
and
I'm
arguing.
sorry?
It's like Mr. Tate and
But we don't have an agreement with Mr. Tate.
Can you? I understand. Can you please?
We don't, there's
Can
nothing in
I-
writing.
Tate Capital, excuse me, please. Tate Capital will try to help.
Right.
It's like we are accusing Tate Capital of coming here, try to steal money from the city. That's what you all try to
No,
do.
that's not at
It's
all.
like he want to borrow the city $11 million. He come up with his plan.
Not at all.
Either you have $11 million or you take his loan, or if you don't want to take his loan, you said, okay, and Mr. Tate lets me go somewhere else. But just don't make it seem like Mr. Tate just came, tried to steal money from the city. We have a better loan when we don't have nothing on the table. When you're talking about loan, you're talking about approval loan. We have nothing on the table. By talking to people over the phone, and you're talking about loan, I can call someone in bank right now and tell them I want to buy Wildcard for $11 million. They will give me numbers. They're going to ask me what I said, do you have anything like that? But at the end of the day, when they're going to ask me for paperwork and things like that, when they're going to look at my credit score, credit rating, and all those things, that's when they're going to give me real numbers. That's what it is. Don't just come and think Tate Capital is here just and a resident of the city try to help acquire the wildcard that the residents want. And of course, if he's investing $11 million, he want to make a profit.
Thank you.
And I see people come into the city and make profit and don't give anything back to the city. I don't know, is someone going to put $11 million and you think they're going to give it to you for free? And it seems like the guy is here to steal the money. Thank you. Suddenly everybody's expert in finance. You need to understand like that. We
Mr.
cannot
Mayor, I
just-
have to correct that on
if
the
you
record.
if you agree with it, you agree. If you don't, you don't.
Mr. Mayor, please allow me to say that I don't want that statement to go to Mr. Tate. Mr. Tate has personally has helped me in my district, has helped out. I am not accusing anyone of stealing. He's a businessman and he's doing what is best for us. Today, I have to do what is best for the city as I believe
he's not doing
in.
what's
And
best for us.
No,
He's investing money. You want to make money on top of his money.
And I don't have
if
an
you
issue
don't
with
want
that, but
it,
if
you
I
have
have
another
another
way
option.
of going.
But I
it's
am not
fine.
accusing anybody of stealing. I just want to state that for the record, Mr. Tate. And I told you yesterday, thank you. I've even asked if you could match the loan or come close to it, and you said no. You can't. You're not able to do that. So again, by the way, these are also your dollars because, like you say, you live here and you work here. You know, and so no offense. You've been a great partner for many years to the city. Again, what is best for all of us, for most of us? What is it? That's all that I'm discussing.
And again, too, just to kind of echo off of Councilman Estimate Irvin, Mr. Tate, we know you live in the city, you have businesses in the city. You were recently, you leased one of our properties to develop Allure. CRA gave you $15 million and a 50% TIF. So, we invest in you, and I understand, hey, you want to maybe invest back. But I think this deal is just not the deal for, in my opinion, is not the deal for Mr. Let's allow staff to go back. Galvin, do you want to motion the first item to, acquire?
It's not you that's gonna ask him. I'm the chair of I'm the mayor here.
I'm just saying, I'm like, I don't know if you still had questions, but you
please.
we
Thank
talk
you very
all
much.
day
Thank you.
long.
I'm the mayor of the
Take charge.
city.
But I live in the city.
And the mayor, I'm the mayor of the city until May of 2023.
Can
right?
Can I say
Yes,
something,
go ahead.
Mr. Mayor? All right. Well, it's been a long night to say the least, and I thought it would be a quick meeting and things just kind of take their own way and kind of changed. But obviously, Mr. Tate, thank you to your father and to your family is the legacy and what everything been done within the city. None of us knew of these things. I guess the manager and I guess the attorney said they just find out about these things. That's fine. I cautioned the staff. They said they're okay. It is what it is. With the loan. And I don't think nobody would want to, including Mr. Tate or any of the residents, would want to do anything that's not in favor of the city. Again, if this sounds better, it sounds better. However, and I'm going to put it on the record, if it doesn't work out, which I do hope, I think it will work out, but if it doesn't work out, for whatever reason, I don't know these things because I'm not a professional in development. You should, or you or anybody else should not feel bad because it is what it is. Because Scott, well, it is.
We've got
no. I'm saying if it doesn't work,
opportunity in front of us, and we're gonna
not work out in terms of not getting. I'm saying working out in terms of us not getting the money, but he's there to get the money that way for whatever reason. Sometimes this is a quick story. Really, I was buying a car. No, this is real quick, and I'm gonna make it real quick because if you'll excuse me, Mr. Mayor. And I went in to buy the car, and they told me, yeah. And I was looking back. They told me to take the car home, and I took the car home. I was going back with my friends. I got a new car, and then they pulled my credit, and they told me this was 10 years ago. They said you got to bring. I got a call, and then they said I got to bring the car in. I said, "What's for what?" Like, what you mean? Bring the car in. And then they said, well, either you bring it in or you pay this amount. So it was so I end up paying the amount because I was so embarrassed to bring the car in. So, and I learned my lesson about the finance. So that's why I don't even play with it. So before I go in now, I do my homework and make sure and do what I need to do. So I just hope that we do the same thing. And I know this is business and it's a city. But in Councilman Gavin, I think we all want, well, I certainly want you to, this is something that I want, and I know that's something that you want for the residents of the city, which is cool, and that's fine. We don't have, and I think Mr. Tate, and I called him, and I didn't know, I said, could you put it down 1%? If we could go below 15, I'm okay with it. And he said, yeah. I was like, okay, fine. We're going to come and vote and leave because I was hearing 20, 30 million, 25 million, and that wasn't the case. So I was okay at the beginning, but now we're here. It is what it is. So whichever motion is for the 11 million, I'm ready to go.
You have two.
Good. Thank you.
You have two people from the administration. You have the finance director. You have the city manager and the city attorney. They're 100% sure we're gonna get the wildcat. We're gonna close on the 17th of December. I hope everything went well, and I hope someone doesn't come and change the numbers and the stories. I hope that. And you want to do?
Is the agenda set up to where we have to make
It's
two?
two.
Is it
The
one or
motion
two
to
motion?
acquire the wildcat.
Is it one or two motion?
Because we're not gonna pay to financing, because I don't see why even if we have 11,000, we will send a check for 11,000. That's not good practice.
11 million, you mean?
I rather keep the
Is it
the
one
money
motion or
float
two motions?
and get in.
From what the city attorney said, it was two. One, to move forward with acquiring, and two, the financial, the financing option.
I wonder if. it's
So, but
both
maybe
at
they'll
the same
change it. Who
time.
knows?
Let's wait till we've got the manager and the attorney's
Okay.
attention again. Is it accurate, Mr. Pizzo, that we need to have two motions right now, one for whether or not to purchase and the other on which plan to follow?
That's what I would recommend.
I'll make a motion that we purchase the Wildcat Center.
Second. Beat you to it.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to purchase the Wildcat Center. That motion was seconded by Councilman Desume. All in favor?
To finance.
Aye.
Okay.
No, not to
not
finance.
yet, not yet, just to
Okay.
purchase
No,
it
to
first.
purchase.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
My next motion, Mr. Mayor, is to accept the terms put forward by Mr. Tate.
And I second that.
What's the motion?
My motion was to accept Mr. Tate's offer, his deal.
And which offer is that? Do we know?
The 11 million or? Which offer?
The offer we
We
would
don't have one in
have is the
writing.
one that is the $25 million offer. That's what I have on paper.
No, you have another one on paper I sent you today, and I'm willing to lower it for 3 years. So I just got the text, so you can buy it off in 3 years.
Okay.
For how
So it
much?
lowers it to about 14 and change.
The reason I'm making the motion to accept that deal is because a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. We know we get it. We can move forward, and we haven't
Wait.
missed an opportunity.
I'm
My
lost.
motion is to accept the terms put forward by Mr. Tate.
With the option to pay it off in 3 years. Mature in 2 years. If we have the money, yes. If not, we
So
Councilman
how
Desume
much
has
would
the-
that be,
on
Mr.
14 and change.
No. That would be how much, Mr.?
Now you said that on record, that all we're gonna do, the administration gonna follow our lead.
If you pay it off in 3 years, it would be the 11 million we pay for it, and plus the annual rent, which is about
$27 a square foot.
right, which is about three. Right.
Then I'm back again to, where do we?
Why are we renting if we can outright own?
Yeah.
Let's
Why?
wait. Let's wait till we have a vote on this question. We've all made ourselves very clear. My motion is to accept Mr. Tate's proposal.
Yes, I don't have a problem with it, but I have a question for it because I don't think my question was ever answered. So where do we get just the money with the renting? I know we get so do we borrow 14 million or 11 million? That's all I want to know.
That would have to be from the council to say if we're going to borrow 14 million versus 11.
Okay,
'Cause-
that's what I would. Yeah, if we're borrowing 11, then we need to put it there because I think it's very clear that cash flow is very strapped and they don't have the thing. So if it's 14, it's 14. If it's,
Councilman, the 11 was the purchase. So that's
No.
the second
I
option.
know what he's saying. What she's saying that if it's 14, it's
If you guys
14.
if we decide to select Mr. Tate's offer at $14 million, meaning that we now have to go and get another loan whenever, but we'd have to pay it back within, 3 years is what he put on record?
Which was the original that I thought was.
But the other option is for us to get our own loan at the 11 million and buy it outright, so we do not have to utilize Mr. Tate
But the only problem is that
11.8.
two options
current,
on the
right, there are
11.8.
two options.
Which I
One-
get.
Plus the
One, in
cost.
my opinion, is now, the other is an if and when, and that's the
Well,
problem I have, too
But
much
we
if
have
and when.
58
it's the-
We
days.
have 58 days and we don't have
58
cash.
days.
I've made my motion, I think there was a second.
Yes. But I have a question for the finance. Well, you said that was
The
on
question
us.
Councilman Desulme.
Mhm.
Okay. The proposal from Mr. Tate right now
Mhm.
is going to cost you 14 in 3 years.
I get that. What I'm saying is we have a loan for 14, so the other four
No.
for 11. So the other four is coming where?
No, when you're going to pay him in 3 years, it's going to be 11.
I know, but where are you getting the four? That's all I'm
No,
saying.
because
From
you are
the general
leasing
fund.
it. It's like he's
We don't
buying
have
it
nothing
right
from the
now.
general
Exactly.
fund. So can we amend to, what I'm saying is, I don't mind the 14. Galvin has to amend his motion for the 14 because I do not want to touch the general fund because we ain't got no money. I asked the manager the other day for $125,000 to do something on 7th. We didn't have it. So if we didn't have that, she's right here. I asked her from Public Work $125,000 to put some swelling, some sprinkler system in the swelling area because of that thing we have to do on 7th Avenue. We didn't have it. So the road
You're talking about Northwest 7.
yes, the road repair that we are doing on 7th is with the way we are redoing it has gone up to about 125 more because of the sprinkler system that we are putting. So while is Mr. Pierre Lewis and I and the other folks. No, I'm just letting you know. So
Money to do it.
but we didn't have it.
It's in the budget.
Mr. Mayor,
I didn't know where it is.
Mr. Mayor, I asked the manager.
Mr. Mayor,
and
I'd like
I
to
was
call the
told
question.
no. But
There's a motion on the second the table.
Yes,
and Councilman
yes.
Desulme has some questions.
I just have some
I-
questions for.
No, after that, you're going to ask some
No, I don't have a question. I'd like to call the question. I'd like us to move, to go ahead and vote, please.
No,
Yes,
we're
I'm
going to
calling the
vote. We're
question.
waiting for his
Yes, we're
explanation.
going to vote. I'm just going to explain. So,
But the Robert Rules of Order says if there's a motion and there's a second and somebody says call the question, you take a vote.
Okay, second for discussion.
Can I please get that's just my concern. I don't mind Councilman Galvin, but if we could amend the 11 million, is that something possible we could do, Mr. We can't do that. So how do we buy it? What can we do then? Do we get in trouble?
Yes. We go race.
That's true.
I call the question.
That's not mixing you
And,
that.
and can I say something?
Mhm.
Because I second the motion.
Yeah.
It's 28 acres of land, of development. That's when it's not something, it's something that's going to put, when they did the calculation, when you're talking about impact fees, right? It's over $2 million for the city, for just the 25 acres. Secondly, all those people buying those lands around the Wildcat, you know why? They think they're going to come for free and get a zoning change from the city of North Miami.
Okay.
That's been us as the governing body of the city, we can leverage that. You want height and density to maximize your profit, put $1 million toward the Wildcat Center or whatever it is, find a way to there's multiple ways we can do it. Okay.
Mr. Attorney, all I want to know is, Madam Manager, since do we have enough the way it is right now where we won't have any problem meeting payroll? That's all I want to know, and I'm okay with it.
When we get if we get an $11 million loan, we were planning to get the in full $11 million from the bank. So that would pay for the Wildcat in full, and what we would be paying is the payments over the year. So we would have enough to pay those payments over the year.
The 11 million.
No, because our payments are less to them for the 10-year loan. It's about,
You're going to pay
I think the number's about
only
500
about
and something.
92,000.
The payments would be about 500 and something thousand,
For the-
close to 600,000.
So what would be the payment for?
$1 million for tape.
Plus the property
And
taxes?
you don't have that.
Yes, property taxes also, because
So where do we get that?
under, for property taxes, if we do not own and use it, then we still have to pay the property taxes, and under the lease with Tate, we would be responsible for the property taxes as well.
So Councilman DeSomé,
Mhm.
because I know yesterday you were out.
Yeah.
So you have two options on the table. You have Mr. Tate
No,
and the loan.
I know the options.
But also what's also not included is the $500,000 maintenance and
So-
operation, 120 for parking, and then the 250 for property tax.
So who's paying?
That's all in a.
We're
in
all,
addition.
we're gonna have to
Call the question.
inherit that no
Yes,
matter
go
what.
ahead.
Call the question. There's a motion and a second, and can we call the question, please?
Can you please, I'm trying to ask my question, Councilwoman. Yes, Madam Manager, so stating on the record, would you have enough if we go with this deal to pay taxes, to pay whatever meet the city obligation? Because I don't want to vote on something and then if we have it, we okay. And I'll move forward. But if we don't, then why would I do something like that? So that's why I'm trying to get clarified from you, because yesterday we were talking about 25 million, we were okay, but now it was 15. I came in here, I was okay with it, but now I'm hearing back and forth, so.
I mean, as far as the city, if we could pay 600,000 rather than $1 million a year, and just.
No. My question is that Councilman Galvin called into motion and the mayor seconded. So if we vote, that means that
Can
it's
I
an
say
obligation.
something?
Yes.
When I spoke with the city manager before all those stories come up with Wells Fargo and everything, we have $5 million coming in from Cagney, and the city manager said she was going to take about $2 million right, from that money toward the Wildcat Center. And now Councilman Galvin spoke with Solemia to see if they can give some money away from the $2 million in the interlocal agreement. That's mean right there we have about $3 million to cover the lease agreement, and then after 3 years find the $11 million to pay off the.
No, the 11 million, we're going to get it
will
by
be
December.
11. No, in 3 years.
No, yeah, by December you'll get the, well,
If
you'll
you go
get
with
the
this,
way
because
before.
the first argument, the first option, we thinking, we hoping, right? That's what it is. The second one, we almost sure 100% we're gonna get the Wildcat Center. That's what on the table.
So Councilman, also what also is happening is that the 11 million is to buy, and when we purchase it, if we decide to purchase it with an $11 million loan from the bank, we are going to pay lesser payments each year. If we go with another option, it's more. And I've asked the city administration, can we afford this? And the city manager has told me after 3 years, giving our current financial state, she does not know where that money is going to come from.
So why is it not on the record now? That's what, because right now that's what I want to make sure.
Because in 4 years, we may be here, kind of like what happened with Red Garden, where we have a property here that we could be making money off of, and we're not. So in a couple of years, we could be here, hypothetically, saying, hey, we can't afford the payment, because we were, like you said, you were looking for $120,000 for 7th Avenue and couldn't find it. So
well, I don't have nothing.
That's not true on record.
I have a question.
No, he just
120,000 you can
He
get.
know, no, I have
they
a
told me
Because
that,
you
Mr.
got to open
Manager.
the book, open the budget
Oh,
book.
they-
You're gonna
they
see where
did
the
that.
money is.
Oh,
But
they
how
did
much
that.
did we use the ARP to balance our budget?
Yeah, they did that.
Well,
They
that's
told
not-
me.
let's not
I don't have no
talk
problem
about
with that.
money.
We call it, we could vote. I don't have any questions because they told me no, I didn't have it. So now that it's I'm surprised they have,
Look at your budget.
they have
You're
14
gonna see
million.
the half cents,
No,
the
but
half penny
what-
gas,
what's-
the
what
infrastructure.
my
It's a
interest,
loan.
my thing is that I don't have any issues with it because and the reason that I don't mind supporting it, but I have it on the record. The manager had told me they didn't have $125,000.
You tell her where to find the money.
No, I didn't tell her that, and I'm not telling her that. But I'm a vote with this because I know this is important for Councilman Galvin. So
I just
yes,
want to clarify that the question
we ready to
was
vote,
whether
Madam
it was
Clerk.
budgeted.
So we ready.
No.
For the
Look,
spring.
guys,
Are you ready?
Calling the
I'm ready.
question a few seconds
You
ago.
ready
yeah,
for
I
the
was
vote?
calling the question and I was
Ready.
ignored. Now all of a
Okay.
sudden we
Then
want to call the
please, thank you.
questions,
No,
right?
that's
Thank
fine.
you
That's fine.
very
Go ahead,
much.
Councilman. No, go ahead.
Thank you
Councilman
very
Irvin.
much. There's a motion, there's a second.
I have
Madam Clerk?
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to accept the terms put forward by Mr. Tate with the option to pay off within 5 years.
Within
3 years. My apologies. Within 3 years. That option, that motion was seconded by Mayor Bien-Aimé.
Can you clarify as to what the maximum on that is? Because the deal that we have on paper is still a $25 million
under
deal.
$15 million.
That's what.
With the max
Total, what happened to 14?
Yeah.
He said 14 and change. That's what I said, under $15 million. That's the motion. Yes,
Will
Madam
parking
Clerk,
also
Madam
be
Deputy
included
City
in
Clerk.
this deal?
Okay, with the option under 15 million. That motion, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries with a 3-2.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tate. Thank you for helping the city. It cost us about $3 million over 2 years, but we need to understand it's $27 per square footage. If we have to rent a community center, it will cost us more. The Wildcat is more important than just the money. Serving the people and
Serving the
make
people
sure
at a
that
higher
we change
interest?
the quality of
Let me
life.
put something on the
Please,
record.
please, I'm the mayor, please.
I know, I need to put this on the record, just so that you understand. You've asked to acquire it, but to acquire it through and he's claiming to buy it, so that means he's going to get into a purchase agreement with them. We are no longer moving forward with the purchase agreement
understand that.
from the city, so he has to acquire
We
the
understand
property
that.
and purchase it. Okay, I want to make sure that that is on the
That's
record.
what it is. Thank
Guys,
you. Thank you very much.
Move to
Can I have a
adjourn.
motion to second? Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Mayor Bien-Aimé, Councilman Galvin to adjourn. That motion was seconded by Mayor Bien-Aimé. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 3-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Good night.